From that night, the very first time I decided I didn't feel like going with my family, I gained paranormal feelings, mind-wrenching fears that will never go away. The moment of that night when my family went away to the coast for a few days and I stayed home with my dog alone has always haunted me. Bad images stick into my head that I'll never be able to forget. It's hard to imagine how natural I was before what I was about to go through, not knowing how much I could have taken it for granted if I had known how I was going to end up before I understood what was really going to happen. But now I'm a paranoid wreck, suffering from all kinds of anxieties, fearing to be on my own. Some may usually end up as not wanting to leave the house and scared to be around large crowds, but what had happened to me made me different. The feeling of keeping safe around strange people and actually being scared of home, mostly on my own, listed unusual. It all started here. I was 23. It was a usual night like any other. There wasn't much to do besides watch TV and walk my dog around the tracks, and about 9, I figured there wasn't anything else to do, so I went off to bed with my dog already sleeping on it. It took me a while to nod off as I wasn't heaps tired, also being woken by selling wood, and before I did, it was at least an hour of tossing and turning. I lived in a country type town, so my nearest neighbour to me was at least 50 yards away and wasn't right next to me, so being alone at night, even at my age, always made me sort of worried, thinking that if something happened, my closest help was quite a travel away on foot, and now that I had to stay home for 4 nights on my own freaked me out. The sound of the house noises probably scared me the most, but I just overworry myself and thinking too much negative things when I'm nervous. I really felt like I was acting like a little kid. At least I was asleep then, so didn't have to worry about anything. Darn that tap. I woke up, walked out of my room down the stairs from where the dripping was coming from, to pull the plug out of the tub, emptying it, squeezing tight the tap in the bath as the drips were constant every second, one after another, and it slowed down but didn't stop. The drips were now about 5 seconds separate and not as loud without water. That would have to do. I walked upstairs, walking on the creaking steps back to my room, jumping on the bed to sleep again. It was really annoying how it woke me after the last fidgety time trying to go to sleep, but at least this time I was more tired and I drifted to sleep after about 15 minutes. I had the craziest dream about my house at that moment right then, of my dog and I sleeping in the bed, but as I was watching myself through the door, I wasn't actually myself. I must have been somebody else. Whoever I was, I had no idea what I was doing or how I even got in the house. As I was just standing at the door staring at, well, myself and my dog, I was woken back into reality from the sound of... Was that my front door? I realised I forgot to lock it. My dog growling, stirring at the door. I jumped up instantly and walked over to my window, but couldn't see anything suspicious. I couldn't even see an unfamiliar car outside my house, but I also couldn't see my parents' car, so I knew they didn't come back home for any reason. I think they would have called me if they were going to. I know for sure that wasn't the house selling or anything. It was definitely the slam of a door from my house. I wanted to call my mum but didn't want to alarm her that I was afraid. I know the smartest thing would be to call the police, but I didn't. Instead, I again walked out of my room, down the stairs with my long flashlight in my hand, ready to use as a weapon, trying to be as quiet as possible so I won't alert an intruder. But the stairs kept creaking, mostly at the middle when I just became visible to anyone downstairs. When I was on the last few steps before emerging onto the ground, I see zip through behind the corner of the hallway a shadow. I walked past the front door and searched down the house at the end of the hallway, scared out of my wits to find no one. There was nothing there. I was sure someone had entered my house. Then why else did I hear the door slam, and why did I see a shadow unless I was imagining it? Still possible, but I would believe it less if my dog wasn't growling. But I couldn't have been imagining it. It all seemed too real. I couldn't think of any other reason. I didn't want to feel that I was becoming sick and hallucinating, seeing things that aren't there. It couldn't be my neighbour's door. They are too far away, and I didn't see anyone getting in or out of their car. Still, that would be too far to seem that loud and close, and to actually wake me up. I wasn't sure what to think. I tiptoed back up the stairs confused. I assumed that being in this house alone, away from anybody, was just me being paranoid, and it had to be the creaking of wood from the house. Or what else could it have been? It just seemed so weird how loud it was, making me think it was a door slam. But there wasn't any other possible explanation. It just confused me. I wasn't sure what else it could have been, but I gathered it was nothing, and a 23-year-old guy who still lives with his parents is scared being alone sounds silly. This time I was going to sleep with no more interruptions, no matter what odd noises I hear. I'll just ignore them. I fell asleep again, patting my dog who was laying next to me within a few moments, and had the same weird dream of me as someone else, stalking my dog and I in the house as in the previous dream, when I was looking at my dog through the crack of my bedroom door, as well as myself. But this time, I was walking down the creaking stairs towards the bathroom. The dripping got louder as I made my way closer. I had no control of what I was doing. I felt fear for some reason. I didn't want to go in the bathroom. I wanted to stop. I don't know why, but I couldn't. As I was at the bottom steps of the door, just meters away from the bathroom, the loud dripping increased in volume and speed, dripping faster like it was before as I approached the door, just about to turn the knob. The dripping was so loud and fast it woke me up, but still heard the repetitive dripping. The dripping is once again repetitive, after each other. At least I wasn't in that creepy bizarre dream anymore, but the fact that I heard the dripping again, like in that nightmare, it made me kind of nervous. But it was only water, right? What could have caused that dream? I guess you can hear noises in your sleep that are really happening and turn into a part of it. As I was getting my breath back, rubbing the sweat off, that's when it started again. I felt my heart once again pounding in my chest. The door was slightly open. I couldn't remember leaving it open. Then I felt a wet liquid on my hand, and my dog was gone. Probably his drool. I turned on the light, about to wash it off with a damp towel I kept in a bucket of water, but as I first visualized my hand that slowly adjusted from dark to light, I realized it was blood. What? Had I cut myself in my sleep or something? Looking down at my bed, seeing where my dog laid next to the side I was laying on was more blood, but a huge puddle of it, along with my dog's severed body. I screamed like a child. My dog's head was nowhere to be seen. I have to leave. The fast dripping that was in my dream was still going. The next thing I did was plain stupid. Like anyone should have, I didn't run out of the house straight away to find help. Instead, I decided I had to first find out why the dripping sped up again. I don't know what in my right mind wanted me to do it, but for sure it was the worst possible idea. Something had to be causing it. The tub couldn't fill up again on its own. I walked down the creaking steps once again, with my hand shaking, tightly gripping my flashlight as a weapon, as I heard the dripping get louder. It was exactly like in my dream. I got to the bottom of the stairs and then walked over to the bathroom as I was about to turn the handle. I was almost dreading to go in. I walked inside, turning on the lights, and what I saw next has been engraved into my memory. At the bath, it wasn't the tap that was dripping so fast. The blood which drained out of the head of my dog, which was hung up above on the shower, splashed loudly on the puddle of blood in the tub which was slowly filled up. The face of my dog had been removed, revealing a bloody red meaty substance where his face used to belong. Just after a few seconds of staring at my dog's faceless head, frozen in fear, I heard the creaking of the last steps of the stairs, then footsteps walking towards the bathroom I was in, until the face of my dog poked at me through the door which began to merge in, revealing a tall figure. Those were in my dog's face, still leaking blood, dripping down the figure's ratty top. The figure moved his hand rapidly towards the switch, turning off the light so I couldn't see, then heard him charge towards me through the door. I suddenly turned to the door leading outside, but the physique caught up to me before I managed to turn the handle all the way, as it pinned me to the door. I struggled to fight, but managed to free an arm and whacked the flashlight across my dog's face he was wearing, knocking him down before making an escape through the side door I was at. Then I heard him get up and once again start charging after me, shouting in anger, but I didn't look back. He didn't sound too far behind. I didn't have enough time to run out the door I came in and grab the keys and drive off in my car. I just legged it, bolting down the street, heading 5 blocks to the nearest police station, nearly not stopping for a breath. I constantly looked back on my way, hoping he didn't have transport to come after me. He could be armed with anything, but thankfully I was a fit person and managed to run all the way and finally making it to the police station just before I passed out from lack of breath. I described what had happened to the police after catching my breath from running in fear, and the squad ran back to my house, but along with my dog's body, the man was gone. It was lucky I escaped in time, because anyone can imagine what he would have done to me if he caught me. The police told me that they think after hanging my dog's head up in the shower, the man went back up the stairs and hid in my closet as I was sleeping, because they found bloody handprints from inside the closet door, and before he entered the bathroom, he did walk down the stairs. He must have killed my dog a while before I woke, as the tub was quite full of blood. It proves that what I heard and saw wasn't any of my imagination. My parents came back right after I explained everything to them, and I didn't stay in my house on my own for a while after that when we were able to move back. I am 25 now, and it's been a couple of years since that occurrence, and I managed to move in a house I owned myself. I always turn every tap in my house tight so I won't hear any drips. It scares me to know that they never caught that man, and he still is hiding out there, and I wonder if he still lurks around my old home. But scares me the most how he simply murdered my dog next to me as I was asleep, and could have easily done the same to me. I don't know why he didn't. Perhaps he wanted to toy with me. Thankfully I'll never know. Ever since my dog's death, I've been lonely. I loved him so much. We were close as owner and pet. Right after what had happened was quite an uneasy time for me, and my parents sent me to many psychologists. I'll never be 100% the same again, but I eventually came over some of my anxieties and forgot mostly about it. But sometimes I wake up at night and I swear that I can hear the same heavy drips that came from my dog.